time to get started, so if you can find a seat. All right. Good crowd. I like this. So how many people here have not been to DC Tech Meetup before? It's like 50, 75, 100 of you. That's awesome. Sweet. We're glad you came. So I'm Corbett, Corbett 3000. If you want to find me on Twitter, send me an awesome message or an awful one. Let me know what you think. Let my fellow co-organizers know anything about DC Tech Meetup. This is our 10th one. This is crazy. We started it. This was the first one. Yeah, cool. Wow. January the first one we did, maybe? God, there are almost 3,000 members of DC Tech Meetup now. We, at one time, were the second fastest growing meetup of all time, globally. Something like 200,000 meetups, which is insane. And I think that there's a little bit of proof in the pudding that there's quote-unquote something happening here. In Washington, D.C., we've seen a lot of activity in the startup and the technology scene, the creator communities here in the district and beyond and around in recent memory. So a lot of that is driven especially by you guys. You're the doers, you're the ones creating companies, you're the ones employing people, you're the ones raising capital, doing brand new interesting things. We're going to highlight a number of awesome startups tonight. Some of their new technology. We're going to talk a little bit about social commerce. Singh and I are going to do a one-on-one interview. We're going to talk about their investment philosophy as well as their startups. We're going to talk about what the DC region looks like from both an insider's lens, because Paul grew up here, and also from a somewhat outsider's lens, or maybe more worldview lens, because you travel the world and it's based mostly not you. But I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight, and actually before I'm going to have to load a YouTube video here. I want to ask you a few questions, because we don't always do this. And it's December, right? It's the holiday season. We should be thinking about more than just ourselves a little bit. So I want to ask you this question, like, how will you lead? There are a lot of people in this room that are leading in some way, shape, or form, right? So we're leading companies, we're leading communities, we're leading in our own friends and family circles, doing new and interesting things. Now, a lot of people, I think, have been, maybe they're just coming to these things. Maybe they're just going to events or other meetups, whatever that might be, and they're not necessarily leading something. So I want to encourage you over the next month or so, which sometimes is an introspective period over the holidays, just ask yourself, is there something you can lead? Whether it's big or small or otherwise, whether it's 5 people that are going to now teach themselves finally in the program because that's the thing that you know you need to do, you haven't done it yet, or there are 2 or 3 of you that are going to finally quit your jobs and start a company. And so you're going to lead the charge to throw yourself over that fence. And if you do that, please let us know, and then hopefully we can highlight your entrepreneurial endeavors and hopefully find you new customers and clients and investors in the process. That's part of what this is about. So I really ask you, what will you do? You know, I don't want you to just leave here and say, oh, well, it was great, it was cool, and I went to an event and I saw some demos or whatever. This really is about you. And it's our job. I know Justin and Singh, Michael and Frank and BJ, a lot of our co-organizers who are actually traveling this month. We view it as our job to help you guys find what you need, right? To live the lives you want to lead, to live those dreams, to create those companies. And recently, a guy named Ryan, who's in the audience somewhere, where are you, Ryan? In the back, has been doing something. He's been leading something that is so unique and so interesting that I personally and my company, Extra, we had to be the first to sponsor and get behind it. It's this thing called Code Now, which is teaching inner city youth how to code. Right? So we're talking about this problem. We don't have enough engineers in America, right? We have this digital divide. So I would encourage you to think about, after you watch this video, if my clicking will work. One second. Still my link. Load it. I'll ask you. What would you do? So, it's the. Hold on. Don't do it.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking right now. stop.
Let's give Brian a round of applause. What can I do? Peter, I love this community. It's really interesting, exciting, everything that's going on. So simply, if you're a developer, talk to Ryan. He needs teachers. If you work in a company, if you happen to have any money whatsoever, donate. This holiday season, over the course of next month, they need to buy a bunch of netbooks. And it's the first time we're doing this as DasDak Meetup, but I felt it was so compelling to make sure you guys knew about it. Got $100, please be a patron. If you want to donate a netbook, $350, donate anything, $10, $5, whatever. So how many of you here, I know I'm going to buy a netbook for these kids. How many people here would consider donating after tonight? Seeing a little bit of the video, there's a few hands here. These people are really important heroes. I love you, thank you. Ryan is going to really appreciate your patronage. And so if you look at that link, code now@eventbrite.com, you'll see that. And that's my pitch. I know you don't typically see me selling hard up here, but I think it's really important. This is a homegrown organization. Ryan is based here. We're starting out of DC. I think they're going to eventually expand nationally and cover the West blog. So that is my pitch, people. The last thing I will say before we get into community announcements by Justin Thorp, get ready for another big event that's going to happen in DC. We as Strategy Labs are going to bring Social Media Week DC here for the first time. It's a global event that happens in Miami, right? 12 cities around the world. I think it's in its third year. We were badging into it, which should be good. You know, Peter, we've been noticing what's happening in DC, and that's a lot of what we've been noticing what's happening in DC. We need you to do social media week in Washington, DC. So we will. You can submit your own events, host them in your offices, host a happy hour, host a breakfast, talk about social technology, talk about social media from a communications standpoint, which should be exciting. And that is it.
Hi guys, so my name is Justin Thorp. I'm the marketing manager at Hello Wallet. I'm, as being part of the technology community here, one of the most fascinating things that I hear is people are just surprised when they hear about what's going on. That's really kind of what a big part of this platform or this event is really all about. It's helping you to see a good sense of the energy and excitement of being part of the DC tech community. And in the next 5 minutes, I just want to highlight a couple of the various things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, things that we want to talk about tonight, but just so you all know what's going on in our town, because there's so much going on in our town. Some of you may know Clay Johnson, popular from Sunlight Labs, Sunlight Foundation, Big Window Labs, now working with Anil Dash and some cool stuff. It is actually publishing a book called The Information Diet. Available out January 9th. It's an O'Reilly book, so it should be pretty kick-ass. Our friends at LivingSocial continue world domination. Also love up front. They just launched another national deal with McDonald's, and this one sold over 290,000 deals. Pretty cool. Cool to see a local company continue to, cool to see LivingSocial continue to track really big, kick-ass national brands to utilize the platform. Headnotes and Steve Pace is probably something you saw launch Revolution Growth. They now have $450 million to launch or help investing companies to grow to be billion-dollar companies, which we want as many of in the DC area. A little self-plug at Hello Wallet, we just launched an iPhone application. So in addition to having financial guidance on your desktop, now just think of us as like a little Susie Orman that sits on your shoulder and goes around with you, help you make good financial decisions. The crew over at Health Central had an acquisition, or what we're actually acquired by Remedy Health Media, so congrats to those guys. Very exciting. Word on the street is that Uber, the private town car service, started, or partially started, or one of the founders of Snuggle that's making its way to DC, and it's going to be launching here soon. Yeah, it's actually out now. So if you haven't, check out the iPhone app Uber, you can download and get town cars off your iPhone. It's supposed to be pretty cool. The DC-based web agency Enthu actually won a pretty major award. It's .NET Magazine's Site of the Year. Pretty awesome. And pretty cool site to be credited for Beer Camp, which is an event that they hosted at South by Southwest. And they're really kind of cool HTML5 application they put up on the site. here that they're actually taking international. Awesome. So yeah, check that out. DasDak Ventures is actually hiring an associate. So if you want to join their VC shop, go Google search DasDak.
VA77.com.
Yeah. So
look,
try to find and track down Bobby Ocampo is one of their main guys, and I'll get all the information you need on that. Vino just raised $500,000 for a video tagging analysis application. Hey,
he's buying.
Congrats to Vino. Yeah. And then 3 DC tech companies, Cashless, Spinnaker, and Mass Customer, all have been recently invested by 500 startups. So we're here from all Singh here in a little bit, so it should be very exciting. But that's just kind of a brief snippet of what's been happening in DC Tech. There'll be time for open mic at the end.
You forgot one accomplishment.
What's that?
You forgot the global startup battle.
Oh yeah, Startup Weekend in DC had placed 3rd globally. What's the startup battle? Weekly Eats, right? Is that at Weekly Eats?
Get Weekly Eats.
It's at Get Weekly Eats. 3rd globally, that's a big deal, right? That's awesome. Very good. And that is all for our announcements this evening, or at least our setup ones. So I'm going to ask Lisa to come up and do our first demo of the night. This, and you, go ahead.
Shopsy. And first of all, I want to start out by giving a shout out to my amazing team who helped me relaunch the homepage and some functionality last night. Steve Moo and Kevin Chu. Yes, there's a lot of alliteration in our team. They're awesome. And I also want to point out that we are doing things differently. You know, there's a lot to be said for finding your team, and things don't have to be done the same old way anymore. My team is virtual. I've got a guy in the Valley and a guy in upstate New York, and we meet on Skype, and that works for us. So we launched this last night, and it's our coming out of private beta. We are now open to the public, so hit it up. Right into the process, but you can do that on your own time. I'm going to log in and show you what you can do. Thanks. So this is my recommended looks page, and you'll see my looks built from my style DNA. My body type, my favorite color. Next slide. Let's choose a look to remix. So this look is great, but I don't know about you, it's $8,000. Love the look. I'm going to lock in some stuff and hit, let's see. Items under 300. Let's go back. So I'm simply applying filters, remixing until I like the whole thing, getting the price down. Shopsy's pulling from multiple retailers, all different retailers in our system. We currently have 40,000 brands on the platform. Let's see.
How are the looks compiled?
proprietary algorithm.
Automatically?
Yeah, it's dynamically generated on the fly. So we have lots of big data being pulled for each individual user. 5 items for each of these being stored on the fly. It's a pretty beefy system. Let's see. I'll take you into shop looks and show you how you can look for a specific type of look if you have an event to go. So I am going to work. And I need something gray. And I have a crochet figure. I'm going for this look. I'm going to lock in, let's see, this. I'm going to keep the necklace. Items under 300. See what the system has. So it's algorithmically generated. If there is something that isn't available as a possible match, we'll play that back to you. So the boost didn't have anything under 300 as a match within the system. We have, let's see if we can get the boost down in a different color. So the system will play back what we currently have. We're looking to expand and pull in other feeds from Channel Advisor, Zappos, and Amazon. Currently, we're leveraging one API. With our one template, we have one dress template with 5 items. We currently have 32 trillion possible permutations. We've mapped out 24 possible additional look templates. Let's go to special event. Yep. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do a really simple one. Oh, $26,000 look. Down to $626. Click of a mouse. And of course I can save it. I can like it. Post to my Facebook. Tweet it. And let's see. Go to my saved looks. And there it is. And that's my Shopsy.
Very good. First feature request was to make it for men. So I think they're going to do a little bit of customer discovery and see if that's a viable. Or if you could come up. The other great thing about this, Lisa showed us a very, very, very early version of this back in February, and in May. And I believe that DasDak was the peer pressure on her team to get things sprinting and going, which is terrific. So we love that. And Shopsy is nominated for Crunchy, so let's all go to that home page and vote for them. Click the button, make it happen. Let's send Shopsy to Crunchy. Okay, so we got full screen. Lauren?
Hello. My name is Lauren Thorp. I'm wife to Justin Thorp. Some of you saw him up here earlier. So I recently started a new company, Umbabox, and it was launched in October. A little bit of a background. I quit my job, my full-time job in April. And it took a few months. We got married and tried to figure out really what I wanted to do. I pursued a couple different avenues. That wasn't really clicking, and I kind of came across this idea through the process of planning our wedding, actually. So Umbabox is a curated handmade subscription service. It's very similar to Birchbox, Foodsies, Tasting Box, things like those, the subscription commerce field, but it's kind of meshed then with Etsy. So I was planning our wedding, got a lot of items off of Etsy. I love handmade, I love that movement of buying local, buying small batch, things like that. But I was finding it really hard to find items that I liked. I was finding the discovery feature on Etsy wasn't working for me. I was having to sort through a lot of products that I wasn't really interested in and couldn't find something that really fit my taste. So I eventually did, but it just took a really long time. So I thought that Umbabox would be a great way for people who don't want to spend the time to search through Etsy, but love handmade and want to get these products into their house every month. So I curate items, I find really cool things, and I send them out to subscribers for $26 a month. Now this is an example of what it looks like. This is the one that we actually just shipped to subscribers today. So it is, there's a little glasses pouch. We can do coin purse, pencil case, whatever you want to use it for. A lip balm that is one of my favorite lip balms in the world. It's, I found a woman up in Manhattan who has a garden on her tiny little terrace, and she grows herbs and then she distills them down into like oil essence in her apartment and then makes small batch lip balms all in Manhattan. So I think that's like way cool. So I just love sharing things like that with the subscribers. And then the candles are hand-dipped beeswax birthday candles, because no one ever buys really fun birthday candles, so what a fun little treat. So subscription commerce is part of social commerce, but subscription especially is really booming right now. This is a matrix I pulled showing kind of all the different, or really just a selection of the subscription services that are out there right now. You can see which ones are geared towards men and women and which ones are at scale or in beta right now. I would say we're kind of right below the bubble box, I don't know how you say it. Just launched, but definitely geared towards women right now. We do hope to launch into men's lines in the future, but as we grow our user base, we want to make sure we do a really good job of doing women first and then launch into men as we grow. All right. So another unique feature about Umbabox is that we connect the artist with the consumers. So you can go into Target, buy something that looks really cool, but you don't know much about it. You don't know where it was made. You don't know who made it. This allows you to get to know the artist, get to know the person who made the product that you're now going to be using in your life. So that's a really fun social feature of Umbabox. This is a screenshot of the site. Now, I have done all of this on my own. I have no coding background, no internet background. I really just kind of threw it together to test the market to see if it would work. Turns out it has, which is great. So I'm currently working with a designer to rebuild the website, implement some really cool features, and redo it, which will be really fun. I'm hoping to launch that early next year. So since we've launched, we launched in October. From November to December, we've had over 45% growth in subscribers, which is really fun to see people really latching onto this. People are getting really excited. They're posting pictures of Umbabox as they come in the mail, which is really fun to see with Foodsie and Amazon, two big players in the subscription commerce industry. So that's really fun. People are getting really involved and really excited, and then also it's helping out the artists because people are discovering these artists and going back and buying more from them to give as gifts or more for themselves. So kind of in the future, what I want to work on is the new website. I really want to build in a style profile very similar to kind of what you worked on to help people kind of narrow down the choices and then more tailor the box to their needs. Right now, everybody is getting the same item. And then I really want to get people involved with, as they receive their boxes, post more pictures like this, post more videos of them opening the box, and just really showing excitement on Facebook and Twitter, and so that also then virally spreads to their friends as they see these videos being posted. And lastly, one of my next things is to get guest bloggers to curate the boxes, as curation is a really big thing in this field. So that is Umbabox.
So my first future work request is to make this for men also. Awesome. Next up. Hey guys.
Really excited to be here. This is the first time we're announcing our company publicly. So DasDak is a social commerce platform with the emphasis being on commerce. What we do is we help small businesses leverage technology all under one platform. So I've been working on this project for about 5 years, and I've been testing it in one of my small businesses, which is Shadowroom. And we can now offer mobile commerce and do all of the other things that we've automated, and this has been the impact on my business. The cool thing about this is we've eliminated the need for managers. That allowed us to become very profitable, and as a matter of fact, we're going to open another venue and hopefully create some more jobs. So, what's the concept behind it? Here's the deal. Small business owners have been hit really hard by the economy. A lot of them have been forced to lay off some of their workers, but the workload doesn't go down. But if you think about it, a lot of people that have been looking for jobs or new recent college grads, they have a lot of time on their hands. Well, we thought about, what if we can connect these two? We call these people with time on their hands potential DasDak partners. And our idea was, what if we created software that the potential DasDak partner could use to help the small business owner for free, because the small business owner, quite frankly, can't afford it. And then we would share our revenue to compensate the DasDak partner. So how does that work? I'm going to give you very little time, so I'm going to fly through it a little bit. Say you're a recent college grad. What you can do is you can register and log in at DasDak.com. Then you can click on the Places tab. So what you want to do is you want to create a place for this business, for the business owner. You click on that, and you get an icon. And here, when you click on the icon, you get access to the back end of the page that you're creating for the business owner. You can fill out each one of these modules that does different things for the business page to either automate their business or help them through commerce. You can fill that out, and if you need help, just look at the tutorials and things on the bottom. Well, for $10 a year, you can create a page. And what does this do? It creates a really powerful web presence. Look, instead of us creating our own Facebook page, we go to Facebook and create a page for free. Well, DasDak gives you the power to create a really powerful web presence that's probably has more functionality than what the business owners currently have. We give you visual menus, mobile commerce, and e-commerce capability for that $10. And for each one of our things, we have new models to do it. Let me just talk about the deals. As a business owner, I can't stand the deal websites because they charge me for something that I want to sell at $100. They're going to sell it at $50, and they're only going to give me $25. That is very difficult for a business owner. What we do is we give you the freedom to charge whatever you want. So let's say it's $100, you can charge $90, and we give you 100% of the revenues back. We also automate functions such as the whole hiring process, make it electronic, accept electronic job applications instead of paper applications. And my company has automated training through our site instead of bringing in people and doing it on presence. Anyway, show the business owner what you can do for them using DasDak. Then explain to the business owner that you will work for them for free because DasDak shares its revenue. So then after you create the page, use marketing mediums to bring customers to your DasDak page, whether it's posters, flyers, on Facebook, Twitter. Get people to your DasDak page. Why? Because that's how you will profit. We share our revenues in 7 different ways, and today I'm just going to go over one. You can learn the rest of the ways on our website to watching the videos. Let's say a customer goes to your DasDak page, logs in, and uses the mobile ordering feature for the business page that you created. The customer pays $1 for 2 hours worth of ordering. So let's say they order a drink, appetizer, let's say they order an entree, then another drink, and their car from valet. It's all $1 for 2 hours. We take 50 cents out of that dollar, and we give it to what we call is the DasDak partner, the person that created the page. Okay? So what does this mean? Let's take an example. Okay? A popular restaurant can do 500 seatings per day. So let's say 4 years from now, let's fast forward, a lot of people have joined DasDak. Let's say there's 200 transactions that are actually happening through DasDak. Well, just through the mobile ordering, you can make $700 a week or up to $33,000 a year. That is just from one revenue source. We have 6 others. So you can also think about the impact if you added more businesses. So what I want to do is point out, we have a lot of videos to show you how DasDak works in the different tabs. And the one last thing I want to point out is that you can click on the early access page to log into our launch rock page, put your email in, based on your priority, we will give you the access code, because the URLs are very important. Thank you.
So when I was sitting there, I got a very important notification from a local company, as you might know, Network Solutions. It's based here, and apparently the .XXX domain's available, so rush to your iPads and iPhones, make sure you're registering away. I'm sure you're waiting for that. So I have. All right. So Singh, you join me on stage. We're going to do a quick little one-on-one interview, and Colin, if you don't mind, we're going to do 1 and 3 over here. All right. Test, test, test. How do we sound? We're good? So, Paul, if you don't mind, can you just give the group your quick introduction, give a little context on who you are, where you come from, what are you doing? Go on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Singh. I'm originally from the DC area. I grew up in Great Falls. Still live in Ashburn, actually. Spend half my time in Mountain View, California. I'm with 500 Startups. If you haven't heard about us already, we are about a year and a half old. We are a venture capital firm disguised as a real estate agency.
Louder!
Yeah, a little bit.
That was really loud.
I think we need to aim it at, turn it on that side. There we go. Can you test me real quick, Colin? Keep going.
All right, so we started our fund last year. We've invested in about 260 companies now globally. I'd say roughly about 70% of those were within the US, the rest are elsewhere. DC actually, surprisingly, not surprisingly I should say, tends to have a larger cluster than most cities. So anecdotally, I'd say DC is probably in the top 5 for us. I wouldn't be surprised, I just didn't go back and look at the data, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually the third most concentrated set of startups that we have. We've done 10 deals out of DC now, including the 3 that Peter mentioned earlier.
So for those who are keeping score and tweeting, that's Paul Singh and 500 Startups saying DC is probably the 3rd largest market in terms of the startups they're investing in and looking at nationally, behind San Francisco and New York.
All over.
Yeah, global.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm originally from your area. I think there's a lot of promise for DC. You guys already see it, but we certainly.
Yeah, so my first question is I'm really fascinated about how does DC look on the global stage, right? How does it look compared to other cities around the country? It's easy to see what's going on in the Valley, what's happening in New York, what's happening in Boston, Austin, Boulder, Chicago. Then you think about other startup clubs around the world, whether they be in India or they're in the UK or Amsterdam or what have you. So what does DC look like comparatively? I mean, what's going on here that might be different?
Well, it doesn't look very different. I mean, if you think about it, like LivingSocial is based out here. O-Power, there's a lot of other firms here. MCI and UNet and AOL came out of here. Mark Pincus spent some time here. Sean Parker's from here. Frankly, it doesn't look any worse or better than any other city. I think one of the interesting stats here that most people don't realize is that as recently as 10 years ago, some research firms said that nearly 80% of the world's internet traffic traveled through Ashburn, Virginia. Right? And even today, that number is still about 50%. You're sitting on a gold mine here, right? If anything, the challenge here has been that really smart people end up getting sucked into consulting firms and things like that. But for you're starting to see more and more of I'm sorry, I forget Justin, your wife's name. Lauren. So you're starting to see more and more people like Lauren that are actually jumping ship from their corporate job and actually building companies.
How many people here are considering jumping ship from their corporate job to do something different? There's probably got some hands up or something. If your bosses are here, clearly. So who has already jumped ship from a corporate game to start something? You've got 100 people in a room.
I'm just curious, how many people here are running your own startup or working with a startup right now? Okay, so and that conflict in DC looks just like it is. It's great. It doesn't look any worse than, you know, like, this is better actually than Boston, San Antonio, Chicago in some cases, right? This is why we're here. I'd say, like, it seems like 80%.
Does DC have any specific opportunities or challenges that are different from anyone else?
Well, I mean, I think, nothing that other firms don't, other places don't, no problems that other places don't have. Just to call out, for example, Aaron over at LivingSocial, I'm more worried about him hiring away the next badass startup, right? And he's gonna try, yeah. So watch out for that guy over there, but otherwise, quit your job, start your startup, and come find me.
That's fascinating. So, Aaron, how many people are you looking for right now on the tech team at LivingSocial? How many people are you looking for on the technology team? How many people do you have right now? All right. Well, that was fascinating. If you guys saw the news recently, Facebook is opening an engineering office in New York, and the quote by Zuckerberg is that we're going to hire as many talented engineers as we can. And obviously that's awesome, and that's interesting, and that's cool to have Facebook have an East Coast presence. And you think about it, like, oh, how many startups are shaking in their boots, right? Like the competition coming in for engineering talent. So that's one of the things that's interesting here in DC, that even though we don't have, you know, a massive engineering group like Facebook with probably 2,000 engineers in there, if Google's 40,000 employees, there's got to be 35,000 engineers. We don't have that kind of competition here. LivingSocial and No Power, those guys are probably the most rapacious hirers of tech talent. So maybe that's our opportunity. And I think we've seen, we need to shake people out of those complacent situations.
Right. I think like you, at least I think our opinion is that, like, we can't convince more people to jump ship, but hopefully as more and more people do jump ship and do relatively well, I think there will be others who will follow and say, I can do that too. And I think there's a lot of hope in that. And, it's already starting to happen. Look around you.
Give us a sense for 500 startups, investment philosophy on one hand, and then like what you really use as your gut level measure for investments. I know that some investors will know the first two really, and maybe more so, you guys more so than anyone else. How does that look? How should people understand what you guys do and how you do it? It's a very unique model and business been successful.
So I think, you know, like, so most venture capitalists will use this term called pattern recognition. By the way, are there any VCs in the crowd here? Okay, well, I will say, most VCs will they'll have this thing called pattern recognition. Right? What they'll tell you is, if you ask them, how are you finding deals? They'll say, oh, you know, when you see it, you see it. When you see it, you know it, right? And as an engineer, I'm an engineer, I don't know how to rationalize that. So if you dig a little bit deeper, they'll say, well, you know, intuition plus execution intuition plus experience will help you find these deals. I still don't know how to rationalize that. And so for us as a fund, you know, our first line of filtering actually is our founders and our mentors, right? So today we've got 460 founders all over the world. In fact, about 15 or 17 of them are from the DC area. We've got 170 mentors all over the world. I think 7 or 10 of them are from the DC area. That's what we're looking for them to actually vet you in, to say, hey, Paul or Dave or Christine, take a look at this team or this product. Beyond that, though, you know, if you look at our latest cohort of 34 investments, I'd say nearly 90% of them had product by the time we saw them. About 50% of them had some sort of revenue. 24% of them actually were founded by women. 44% of them came from overseas, actually. So all of that in a nutshell, if I roll that up into a single line for you, you need to remember as a whole that, like, VCs, we're terrible at helping you get your idea inch off the ground. Right? We absolutely cannot help you find that first user, that first customer, or whatever it might be. You've got to get your product inch off the ground. We're very good at helping you take it from inch off the ground to, like, you know, figuratively a mile off the ground. But you've got to get these companies off the ground. Like, for example, Lauren, I'd love to know more about, like, for example, how many subscribers you have and stuff like that, right? And for the other two startups as well, transactions matter. But that's true. I think that's true of all VC today as well. Is that, like, the quality of deal flow, especially when you look at things like AngelList. If you guys are familiar with that, Angel.co.
How many people are on AngelList here? Probably.
If you're raising money, you're not an AngelList. Shame on you, because, like, it levels the playing field for a lot of startups, right? And same time, so it levels the playing field, but it also raises the bar for you, right? Because like if that startup in Sao Paulo, Brazil, is scrappier than you and got their company an inch off the ground, they're going to make money. And there's only a finite number of VCs out there. There's a finite number of LPs that fund those VCs. We're doing our best to help more of the Eagles kind of shake out and help fund you guys as well. But you're competing on a national and international scale now. It's no longer the case that you're kind of trying to invest in each other in your town.
So tell the crowd about your average investment size is the same, it's fixed price, and then how many you're going to do over the next couple of years, and all of those things that not everyone's familiar with.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, the common question we get is like, what happens when we get to 500 startups? The answer is we're not stopping. So if anybody asks me that after this, I'm just walking away. I get this question every day. So our typical model, again, I said earlier that we're a venture capital firm kind of disguised as an accelerator. What that really means is that all of our initial bets, the majority of our initial bets are made at the $50,000 level. They are similar in terms of structure to, for example, Y Combinator and I believe Techstar, that's the latest paperwork. In general, in our case, it's a 5% equity purchase that we're doing right away. And then you're going to move on to Mountain View. Actually, that's where Zvi and Mike and so Spinnaker, Pay Group, and Contactually are out there right now. So I stole them from you, I'm sorry, but I'll send them back in February. But they come out to Mountain View for 4 months, mostly because like our networks are there. Right? Like our power is actually not mediated or pristine.
I'm told Mountain View is like the rest of California.
Yeah, it's
better for sorry, I'll be rest of
what he means is that like so for example, our case.
So I mean, there's like Applebee's and stuff.
It's 30 miles. Actually, there are no Applebee's in Mountain View. But it's 30 miles outside the city, right? And so the point is though, 50K initial bet. The really important question is how much do we continue to put in, right? So at a high level, roughly about 30% of our funds are allocated towards the initial bets, 70% are the follow-ons. So if you're doing well, first of all, if your product's an inch off the ground, I want to talk to you and I want to help fund you. More importantly, as you continue to do better and better, we're going to pile drive into you and we're going to make sure our friends come in too. And so this current accelerator batch will graduate to eliminating the January.
It's a very specific word that you're using, which is maybe, I'm wondering if it's a West Coast way to talk about it, which is bad. And in the kind of East Coast parlance, or especially in DC, you don't hear investors saying these are bad. Right? Maybe they feel like they're not gambling. So tell me what your philosophy is on that. Are these bets? Is it just like putting it on black or 36 on the table?
we definitely not doing that. But, like the thing is that for most of you founders, somebody called me out wrong. Like the fact is, when you start your business, you have no idea what you don't know. In some cases, you're going to pivot because you picked the wrong market, right? Like you might realize that your co-founder sucks. Your wife or your husband is like, hey, startups aren't for me. And because of that, like to be very clear, we're making bets on people. Like if any, by the way, here's a pro tip. If any VC ever funds you for your idea, you should probably walk away. Because the minute you hit like a bump in the road, and you decide, if there's even like a thought of walking away from that idea and doing something else, the question becomes, wait a second, I put money in that, like I want that. Right? And so in this case, we're betting on people. Like, early stage investing really is about betting on people. And we do use the gambling analogy a lot. I don't know if that's common with most VCs, but a bet is a bet, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So I want to make sure we get a couple questions from the crowd before we're going. I don't have a monopoly on good questions. So does anyone have a burning question, incredible question for Jamie?
How do you find an inch off the ground?
How do you find that?
An inch off the ground?
Yeah, okay, so the question was how do you define an inch off the ground? So, certainly it would be nice, like let's say you got a consumer startup, whatever, certainly it'd be nice, like I'd be crazy not to say, hey, find me 50,000 users and use it every day, but the reality is that's sort of unfair. I think, really, like for us as a whole, we look at 3 things, right? Data, design, and distribution. And on the data side, when we look at like the actual, the absolute numbers of these companies, if you're an SMB or an enterprise, it's probably ideal that you have one customer at least, ideally at least one, because it changes the conversation from, is this going to work, to how do we find 1,000 of these? And on the consumer side, let's talk about retention, right? It doesn't matter that you might only have like 100 visitors a day, but if they're spending 15 minutes on the site, okay, let's start talking about how we find 1,000 of those, right?
There's another key point here. I don't know if the entire industry was thinking this way a year ago, but design has become a really key differentiator for many startups. And it's almost now you need designer, developer, hustler, or else you're toast. Right? They don't have a challenge. So was that something that you guys really were the initial champions of? Is that now completely adopted? Or what do you think about the role of design and differentiating startups and making them viable and getting things on the ground?
I don't know that we were smart enough to be the ones that made that up or whatever, but like design matters, right? Like if, again, remember in the context of you're competing globally now, not just within DC or whatever city you're in. In that context, you've got to have a beautiful product will win every day. It just will. I mean, look at your own research probably. Like when you go to a particular site, within like 5 seconds, the thing doesn't load, and it doesn't even look good, it's probably going to bounce off. Another good example is like there was a recent stat out from Cyber Monday that some double-digit percentage of those sales were done from a mobile device, right? I mean, never before has design and page load speed mattered. And we're sponsors of something called the D Fund, the Designer Fund, and that's something that we really believe that designers will become more and more prominently founders.
How many designers are there in the room here? About 25, 30 or so. So let's do one more question from the crowd out here. So what do you got? What's incredibly amazing, the best question I've ever asked in your entire life? We'll lower the bar a little bit. It's just a mediocre question. With that.
Hi, I'm Zach Kidd from Sales, though. Paul Graham talks a lot about the necessity of having a co-founder, sort of someone to drink the Kool-Aid before they begin the conversation. How important is that to you?
So the question was, if I understand right, is how important is it to have a co-founder? Is that right? Okay, so just anecdotally anyway, so we've funded over 250 companies now. I want to say anecdotally that about 8 of them have had single founders, probably about 6 or 8 of them have had 4 or more founders. In general, for us, having a co-founder is not a requirement, but it certainly helps. It does raise the bar on you, though, right? So, like, we are specifically looking for the hacker, hustler, designer in that core team. We don't really care whether it's a 1 person or across 3 or 5 or whatever it might be. I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't turn us off. We funded companies like that, but it does raise the bar on you. And probably making life a little bit harder on yourself, because like I think the reality of startups is that one of our portfolio companies actually posted this on our blog yesterday. So if you go to 500.co/blog, Jeff Liu, the founder of Daily Isle, wrote this piece, and he just lays it out there, right? He just basically says like every time I go ask another founder how things are going, they always say great, right? Then when you go to the bar with them, and you're sitting there with a beer, everybody's staring off into infinity and saying like, my co-founder fucking sucks. My investor backed out, right? My wife hates me. My husband says I'm not home enough, right? And it's like, that's the reality of startups.
How many people are co-founders suck?
He'll be a teller.
I saw Aaron's hand over telling Of those 8 solo founders, how successful are they? Are these the superhumans of the world? Like they're like 100% just killing it? Or how does that work?
I mean, they're doing okay. I'd say I think they're doing okay. They're not, in fact, actually like looking back at like the ones we founded anyways, like, they aren't at any, so first of all, they all hired somebody really quick. Really quick. I don't think that any of them actually brought a co-founder on, but I know that actually, like, for example, TK from Tao and Tracy from Wedding Lovely and others, they all had made a hire very, very quickly. It was usually like an engineering hire real quick to kind of get out of that mud and kind of start to focus on marketing. By the way, let me just give one piece of advice. I would just say, if there's any one kind of trend that we've seen at 500, it's just that generally the tech doesn't matter. Right? Think about that. The tech is important, but it doesn't matter. What really matters is like, does somebody actually give a shit? Does somebody actually use your site every day? Does somebody actually sign up for your SMB service? Right? That's what matters. And so in the context of your day-to-day startups, I really hope you guys take a moment to step out of the code or out of how all the nitty-gritty and really think about how do you find people here. Because I'll help you find out.
How many people here are pre-launch? You're haven't actually shown potential customers yet, there's got to be 40 or 50 hands in there.
Yes.
Yeah, why? Who wants to volunteer?
Who
Why?
wants to be
Why?
who wants to be the
Can you
first
take
one?
action up front? Well, you just launched tonight, so you're going to.
Yeah, you're out.
DasDak is open over here.
My name is Ryan Schwartz from Skateboard, and the reason why I specifically launched it is my product is ready.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Okay.
The product's not ready yet, that's why you have one.
I guess I was hoping it was something. I thought hoping he was going to say something like, I just don't want to show it to anybody yet, but that wasn't the case. But don't hear who's building a product that doesn't want to show it to somebody just yet.
No, what's the one now?
All right, so public shaming. We're going to publicly shame those.
Show somebody.
You know, Reed Hoffman, founder of Umbabox, is willing to say that if you're not embarrassed by your first version, you're going to be too long. And I'll tell you, as a fact, 500 is not fun in stealth companies. You just don't. As a policy, like, there are no stealth companies at 500. We had, in fact, in our internal email list, there was somebody that emailed this thing last week where they were like, some unnamed other startup wants us to help pick their, like, send a survey out, and like, me, Dave, and Christine, like, replied almost instantly at the same time from 3 parts of the planet, and we were like, who the fuck are you?
So there's no movement, right? Instead of the no spec movement in the design community, there's the no stealth movement in the tech community. That's like that. Go ahead. We're actually doing well on time, so please go ahead with your question.
Hey, thanks a lot for coming down here. You guys found this from our we actually had a startup in 10 years ago. We have things that are sort of like startups in both combination product and service. 2 questions. How much of what you're funding are in service versus product breakout?
I'm pretty sure there's no service companies in there.
No. And I guess
I thought you were getting to an interesting question, which is, have you guys been dealing with anyone that has been spinning out product from pre-existing businesses that are more mature? How do you evaluate that?
Well, so a local person, if anyone knows Jared Brown from Wayfind, when we first met him, so I've known Jared for a while. In fact, I actually met Dave through Jared through the show. So Jared Brown used to live in College Park. He was running this thing called Set Consulting, this productivity kind of consulting company. A Wayfind team was a product out of that.
How many people use a Wayfind in the room? That's probably
great product, by the way, use it, and it's a DC company, so you should support it. But, so Jared was running this company as it was a Wayfind was a product that came out of Set Consulting. And what we felt was that like consulting as a whole is hard to scale, and we don't know how to help that. We don't know how to help consulting businesses. And so what we asked him to do is like we funded him, but kind of on this gentleman's agreement that he would find his way to kind of exit that company. I think in hindsight, it's been a while since we did that one, but in hindsight, I don't know that we were like, hey, you should sell it, you have to sell it. But it was really like, I want to know that this is not your priority, and I want to know that when you wake up, you're thinking about a Wayfind, and when you go to sleep, you're thinking about a Wayfind.
How many people are in a service business now that is hoping to go product at some point in your future? There's, that doesn't show. There's like some shame hand. So I was like, all right. So what else? We have time for more questions. All the way in the back over there. I'll get you next. So, wait.
What is your investment horizon and then your exit strategy?
Investment horizon and the typical exit strategy.
Are you a potential LP? Okay. So in general, okay, so investment timeline, we're not stopping. Are you asking at the fund level or broader? Okay, so at the fund level, we sort of anticipate that the initial funding timeline is probably around 2.5 years. Follow-ons will take longer. At the broader scale, we're not stopping. We're rolling. We're 259, I believe, in since August of last year, so that's, I'm pretty sure that's less than a year and a half. What was the other question?
What was your exit strategy? If you're an upfront investor, typically you have serious ground.
Yes.
At what point is it just deal negotiated? At what point are you looking to exit and grow your
Okay, so the question is how do we exit? So I will just tell you that like we don't know how to pick IPOs, right? And I'll be the first to call BS on an early stage investor that says they can pick companies that are going to IPO. I have no idea which one you guys will IPO, but I do know the odds are against me, right? For us, us, like what we're generally looking for is companies that have reasonable ways of growing their business via transactional or subscription-based businesses, revenue streams. And in that context, if I think we can help you reasonably get to, let's just say, $2 to $5 million run rates within the next year, 2 years, that sort of thing, that certainly puts you in a good spot. But also, I think, puts you on a track to, reasonably, let's say, $30 to $50 million exit. For us, I think where you're going with that question is that we do follow on with our investments, and we go bigger and bigger into the ones that we really love. As our companies mature now, we've got a handful that are going into Series Bs and Cs. The fundamental question we're asking ourselves is that as a primarily early stage VC fund, super angel, if you will, we can actually reasonably sell half of our position or some percentage of our position in Series B and not negatively signal.
So you're happy to sort of wash out by Series B or C, potentially at least half of the equity that you may have?
Well, we haven't crossed that bridge yet. So I want to say anecdotally, somewhere between 6 and maybe 8 of our companies have gotten that Series B or beyond with like pre's that could be in the 9 figures. In that case, we're still, in those cases, so far we have not sold a position, but that doesn't mean we can do it in the future.
So we have a question over here.
Let's say that, hypothetically speaking.
What's your stealth startup at?
I'm sorry?
What's your stealth startup at?
I'm just telling. It's not ready yet.
Not ready.
Okay. We actually have 2 different companies there. One is
Make sure you let us know when it is ready. So
just want to let you know. That second one, the baby, is the one we're not really sure yet. Well, let's say that hypothetically speaking, we have a company that's already a couple of inches off the ground, and we're considering bringing in VC money. But there's a concern about losing the control and vision of the company, because obviously now the VC, understandably so, is going to have a controlled business as well. How do you keep the balance?
Well,
so the question is about how do you balance control when you take an investment from venture capital?
So I'll say 2 things about that. Number one, Fred Wilson from Union Square Ventures is well known for saying that you should, and I'm probably misquoting slightly here, so look it up. But he generally says you want to dilute 10 to 20% per round for generally about 12 to 18 months of your own life. That's sort of a guideline, right? I think losing control is certainly a concern, and you should be very cognizant about not giving that away. Our position, I guess to be a little controversial about it, is that we kind of take issue with VCs that so most VCs, if you guys aren't familiar, by the way, real quick, who here has raised money from angels already in the past in any of your startups?
25, 30, 40.
How about VCs? Okay.
20.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So most VCs and many angels will try to deploy their capital right up front, and they'll buy in general. I'm really generalizing here, but in general, they'll try to buy some double-digit percentage of your company, right? And the theory goes, let's just buy into these firms, let's keep close to them, and then as they progress, we'll either write off or we'll continue to go. The problem, or one of the interesting side effects of that is that it's not uncommon that 2 rounds into your company, you might, I don't know, are you a sole founder or are you a single founder or?
Yeah, single founder.
Single founder. So probably by the 2nd or 3rd round, it is not impossible that you would lose majority ownership of the company. Beneath that, we kind of take issue with that. We don't know that we can pick the winners right up front. So our notion is let's buy up front. So I gave you that 5% number before. That's because I want to give you 50K. I want to be a minority ownership. I'm going to help you raise about 100 to 300K in 30 days on reasonable terms. You'll probably dilute a total of 10, roughly 12% maybe. And then I'm going to take you a demo day. I'm going to help you raise money if you want. It's usually 5 and help you raise or dilute maybe another 10, 15%. But even at the end of that, you're still in way majority control. You could probably reasonably do another round.
Are you guys even taking board seats?
No.
So that's one of the other things we need to be very cognizant of.
I believe founders should be control. I mean, you got it an inch off the ground, and for those of you that have launched your businesses, you got it to where it's at, right? You were looking at we can serve as like guideposts and that sort of thing. But we don't have any VC that's on the other side.
We'll do one last question, get back to the demo soon.
Quick question, you said you moved your founders to Mountain View.
Yeah.
It's just for a little bit, and that's one part. What's going on in Mountain View is that
Alright, so I sent this one quote last week, and it was like a trending quote on Twitter, and I'm going to say it again. So 500 startups, we're the lube, you gotta have sex. Right? And so,
we're in Temple, sorry.
Sorry. I never said we were you know, the thing is that, look, we believe that functional expertise matters more than money. Right? We believe functional expertise matters more than money. Our office in downtown Mountain View, if you haven't been down there just yet, you should come by, ping me, check it out. The thing is, we're within 2 miles of, like, strategically, we put it there because we're within 2 miles of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, and Walmart. And basically, all the companies we've already sold companies to are there. And more importantly, they hang out at the office. Right? And so, for example, with Zvi there from Contactually, he's from here, right? One of the things I said to him was like, listen, I need you to Mountain View because I know what your exit path, or I know relatively where your exit path is going to be, and I want you shaking hands at least with the people that in the future could help you that. But perhaps more importantly, because your business is so API-based, I want you in front of the people that can open those doors for you really fast. And so, like, just case in point, in our portfolio, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, like if you are, for example, built on the LinkedIn platform, and let's just say you have an API on it, probably like 5 minutes, we'll get that fixed for you. If you're on PayPal and you're processing payments and you get stuck, who here has actually emailed PayPal support before? Right? And it goes into this black box, right? I'm here to tell you that, like, our companies, when they run into a problem, 15 minutes, problem solved. Right? And the point is that 500 isn't about being or Christine by any means. 500 is about our founders and our mentors. And the best way I know how to help you is to put you in a room with those founders and mentors. You've got to shake their hands. You've got to say hello. You've got to, connect with them.
Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got Steve at LivingSocial. He's going to give us a super amazing, awesome demo of their new service, instant ordering and room service. Brandon, has anyone here used it yet? You have. I totally want to. I missed, what was the first one you had? It was a sushi place down in China. Kushi. Missed that. All right, here you go.
Hello everybody, I'm Steve Rice from LivingSocial. So how many people here have bought a LivingSocial deal of any sort? Alright, excellent, good to see that. How many people have used LivingSocial Instant? Alright, good. Let me walk through this thing and try to be really quick here. So you guys are familiar with the daily deal model. Essentially, we have a giant spotlight. We can shine that on one merchant in our 500 markets. And really drive a lot of traffic to that merchant. And when we launched Instant, we sort of wanted to extend that model and have a lot of different spotlights that we can shine on a lot of different merchants every single day. So that was a big shift for us. It was very significant. We did that back in with our dollar lunch day earlier this year. And so we launched the Instant product. It looked a little bit like this. This is a listing of deals in New York City. At any given time, you can pull out your phone or go to the website and see, literally hundreds of deals that are nearby you simultaneously. And what we saw with that is we really started to pull some interesting stats. Some of the merchants were coming to us and saying, this is great. We're starting to see repeat and loyal customers, and that's really important for us with our relationships with our merchants. We don't want to bring in customers one time and never come again. The whole reason a merchant would ever want to run a daily deal is so that they can get some customers in, and then those customers will come back. And with our Instant platform, we really saw that this started to happen, repeat customers. Customers also were telling us that they enjoyed the buying experience. They would buy with us ahead of time, and they'd walk in, and they'd have their deal, and they could leave their wallet at home. Again, we thought that was pretty darn interesting to see the feedback and to see how we're changing the mechanics of commerce. And you guys, a lot of entrepreneurs here, you sort of know when you see a little spark, you got to throw rocket fuel on top of it. So that's what we did. And we really took a step back and we thought about how can we do two things. We really want to constantly be working with more merchants. There's only a certain number of merchants or certain types of merchants that can run a daily deal. It doesn't make sense for a small sushi shop to run a daily deal. A bigger sushi shop maybe, but not a small place. And so we wanted to have a product where we could drive customers to them. We also wanted to find ways to reach new customers and bring some of LivingSocial's subscribers to those merchants that have chosen not to work with us in the past because it didn't make sense. So we launched instant ordering. Okay, instant ordering is an extension of what instant is. We took what we saw, that we had a little spark here with the repeat customers and the interesting transactions, and we decided to blow it out. We were just showing one special per restaurant, and we said, you know, what if we took that and we put the whole menu online for them? And so that you didn't just order the special, instead you could order everything on the menu. We thought that would really extend the product in a way that would increase the frequency of transactions that the customers had. And so what does this do? This is much more convenient for the customer. The customer, if they have the entire menu on their mobile app, or if they have their entire menu online, the customer can order whatever they want, get the order exactly the way they want it. They can include any special instructions, and then they can just go and pick it up if they're a takeout or have it delivered. So that's a huge, huge convenience. For the merchant, that's shorter lines. Anybody that comes in, picks up something, and is out, they're out in and out in 2 minutes. And small business owners, you guys know, time is money, absolutely. And so anything we can do to bring customers through their store faster is a win. And we really think that online ordering is, well, we don't think, we know, it's a huge growing segment in the industry. And so we kind of came to the resolution that takeout delivery is almost like a restaurant's mobile strategy. You guys all here have struggled with what is the right type of mobile strategy. Do you take your website and miniaturize it? Or do you take your website and try to extend it so that it takes advantage of the mobile device? Essentially, that's the thinking we wanted restaurants to start to do. To think about, hey, a takeout experience is not a fine dining experience where you know, they have the lights and the candles, etc. In their house. We don't know that. But we wanted them to start thinking, well, I still want to be able to reach these customers even if they're not going to be in my store. This is just a quick screenshot of our instant ordering product. So you can see this is California Tortilla right around the corner, and we have their menu online. You can click to order and use the credit card that you have on file with us, and go pick it up or have it delivered. Second thing I'm going to talk about really quickly here is room service. So we decided we wanted to reach some of these restaurants that normally we wouldn't be able to do a daily deal with. They're high-end restaurants. They're very particular about the experience of what happens in their restaurant. So we decided, what if we had white glove style, cloth napkins, candles? We took all that exists in the restaurant and we brought it to the person's house. Could we rethink what delivery is all about? And we spent a lot of time brainstorming this. And this is frankly, it's been kind of a fun project. It's almost like, if you guys remember when the MacBook Air launched, it was almost like a hobby for Apple, and it was one of these things that was like, you know, it was very expensive, it was underpowered, but everybody wanted it. It was a really, really cool thing. And that's how we sort of think of this room service thing. It's expensive. There's a markup for the fee. But we really think this could be something that is just a really desirable thing for people that are not able to get a reservation in a restaurant or that can't find a babysitter. Frankly, it's a lot cheaper than getting a babysitter. For the merchant side, this is a way that a merchant could add a lot more tables without expanding the size of their physical restaurant. Suddenly they could add 10, 15, 20 more tables to an evening, and LivingSocial helps find those customers and actually helps execute the delivery. So this has been a really fun project. We're in test on both of these. They're only in DC right now. And so we're still figuring things out. This is the screenshot of when we ran with Gucci again right around the corner. You know, again, part of our goal is to always find out how we can work with more customers and give more customers more choices. So instant ordering is about taking that one deal that might have existed in our instant platform and suddenly making it so that the entire menu is available to the customer. On the merchant, this is something really important for us too. We want to bring in new customers, and we don't always want to do that at a discount. We want to find ways that they can come in and be paying full price. So, and we again see this as almost like a loyalty play for some of our merchants. So I'm going to say why I'm starting today. One thing that's important for you guys, pay attention now. So for this group only, until Friday, we're going to give you $6 off whatever you order on LivingSocial Instant Ordering. And so the way to do it is you go to LivingSocial Instant and use the promo code DCTech, December 9, or DES9. Again, that's only available. Please write that down. Please do not share it. It is limited quantity. Yes. Yeah, it is limited quantity. We may have to disable it. We don't want to do that. One thing that's really important, some of you maybe signed up for other LivingSocial, like LivingSocial in New York or something. You won't see it. You'll only see it if you sign up for LivingSocial DC, so make sure you're in DC. There's limited supply. It expires, I have to say, the lawyers say, it expires after December 9th. But again, use DC Tech December 9th. Please let us know what you think of the product. Thank you.
Very well done. So my feature request number one, when I get one of those home delivered, I'd like some of the white gloves randomly with like a silver platter to deliver me the LivingSocial. More cushy, more coupon. All right, so where's my Uscoop crew? Because I haven't seen them come in here. All right. Do you want to present from the web? Are you showing the web? Let's just use my group then. Good? Cool. Okay. So we are going to do a quick setup here. Close that. And this place is really nice. That's good. Okay. You're good to go. You want to
Hey everyone, I'm Jocelyn. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Uscoop.com, and September and Maddie somewhere is the other 2 girls that are chugging the Kool-Aid with me. So we are a college lifestyle and flash deal website. And we've been around for less than a year now, and we currently have about 20,000 email subscribers that hail from over 700 different colleges. So what separates us from a lot of the other flash deal websites out there is that we actually use real people, or real students, to inspire and influence or curate our sales. So why go through the hassle of using real students to do this? Well, we're going to walk you through a test demo, and hopefully you'll be drinking the Kool-Aid as well. Sorry, we're pulling up some websites here. So this is Elizabeth McKay. This is actually one of our campus reps. She's setting up. There we go. Ready? Okay. So the Elizabeth McKay. Alright, this is ElizabethMcKay.com. Now this is a vendor that we've worked with, and basically they've positioned their product to appeal to the middle-aged suburban mommy type. They recently contacted us and asked how we could help reposition their product to appeal to the 17 to 24-year-old demographic, or the college student. So the way we did that is that we have 65 campus reps that we consider influential, that are on campuses all across the country. Now what defines influential? For us, that's having 1,000 Facebook friends or more, social, and belong to some type of Greek club or on some type of sports team. So what we do is we rely on these campus reps to help source product or help market for our vendors. So this is Julianne here. She's one of our campus reps at UVA. And what we did was we had Elizabeth McKay send Julianne product, these dresses and blouses. So Julianne and all of her friends styled Elizabeth McKay's looks on themselves. Then they took them to homecoming at UVA and all the tailgates. They sent us the pictures, which we then profiled Julianne and her friend's story in a campus style watch post on Uscoop.com. Now, we used this to basically inspire and influence purchases of a live deal on ElizabethMcKay.com, 50% off. How did we do this? First, we launched an email blast that profiled the campus style watch paired with the deal to our 20,000 subscribers. Then, after that, is when the social sharing happens. So by profiling Julianne and her friends as celebrities, all of a sudden Julianne's family and friends and frenemies and everyone out there wants to start signing up for the website. They're all checking out this post, they're liking on their Facebook feeds this particular post 21 Facebook likes. When you have average students that have over 1,000 Facebook friends, that's pretty powerful. How many times Elizabeth McKay showed up on Facebook feeds for these kids. Then next, on the website, we took the story and we posted it on our website. All of a sudden, Julie and all of her friends are tagging themselves on our Facebook page. They're tagging the Elizabeth McKay brand. Once again, it's being exposed to multiple news feeds across all the channels. Next, we have a referral program. All of a sudden, these students are being influenced to look like Julianne, to buy the deal, so they're sharing the deal with all of their friends. All of a sudden, organically, we're growing. Our subscribers are growing, and Elizabeth McKay's word is spreading across the campus. Finally, when the deal goes down, we add a link that says, get this look, that directs the students to a product page for Elizabeth McKay that profiles them and drives traffic to their website indefinitely. So in summary, when we use real people and make them feel like a celebrity, suddenly massive amounts of buzz are generated that wouldn't have been if we just profiled a simple model that's nameless from Elizabeth McKay. With all the buzz generated, we are looked at by vendors as more than just an email blast. We're looked at them by an online marketing platform that helps target this extremely viral audience. We've been surprised at how easy it's been to sign vendors up because we provide much more than just an email blast. The main thing that we do is we position their brand to go viral on campuses, through our site, and most importantly, through all of these students' social media networks. At this stage, we've worked with over 70 vendors, and we currently have a strong pipeline. We feel that using real students as celebrities to sell goods is an easy way to grow organically and to create a strong correlation between the product and the consumer. So finally, we think that using this form of social curation for sales is something that can be used on many different target audiences. So, launching soon, Uscoop Plus, Uscoop Mommy, and UscoopBabies.com. So, we can find our baby, our future Uscooper. We obviously have a very active Facebook page. Lots of interaction. There we go.
Doing this future request, number one thing, allow me to buy my way back into college, because that's pretty amazing. Okay, so this is the last demo of the night. We're like on an incredible time right now. So, Omnea, Alex, you are ready to roll. We can just toggle you to, I believe, so far it should be good. Do you want the handout or?
So, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. 5 years ago, I was running the e-commerce division for a local brick-and-mortar store. And we sold, amongst other things, really, really expensive office chairs, the mesh ones, the Aeron chair, probably lots of people sitting in it. And I had a customer call me up one day, and she said, I'm looking at your website, you've got chairs from $100 to $3,000. How the hell do I decide what to buy? And I said, well, you call us. And she said, I don't want that. I want the internet to tell me. That kind of started me on a journey to figure out what was it that she was talking about specifically. So as I started to dig into it and understand how people actually go about finding products, I mean, who here has actually used the internet to buy something, right? You know, everybody, right? So as you go out and you look for something to buy, and you start, you know, my current example is I'm going to start looking for skis because I'm going to go skiing in February. And as I start to go through here and I look at all of the options on Google, you know, if you count it up, there are on this page over 80 different links for something to go look at. And so if I go in and I start looking at specific products, you know, I might find that these K2 skis look pretty good, although I'm really not sure if that's for me. They're $699. There's Baltimore ski, backcountry. I know that my buddy Craig loves backcountry, but there aren't any skis there. This is starting to become frustrating. Perhaps I should do, I know I used to have K2s like 20 years ago. So I look is that I start to get pretty overwhelmed by the amazing number of stores, options. I start to look at features. If anybody's read a review on Amazon, like there probably are 4,000 reviews on this set of skis on Amazon. I have no idea whether or not it's written by somebody in Pakistan or somebody in California that actually knows how to ski, or somebody that's just pissed off at Christie Sports for some reason. So where I ended up, was starting down this path of trying to get all of the products into one search engine and then start to curate that. And as we started to play around with ideas on how to actually make a decision, what we found was that consumers lean on one group of people more than any other group, and that's their friends and their personal networks. And so, as Paul was talking about earlier about distribution, it's really about how, for us, how decisions get made. And so at Omnea, what we've done is we've created this thing called a virtual catalog, or your personal catalog. So within Omnea, at Omnea.com, you can go in and sign up using your Facebook account and create your own personal set of catalogs. And then as you navigate around the web, you can add those products to your various catalogs. So you go to the site, you drag the bookmarking bar or button up into the bar. You can see there's one already there. And we're off and running. You go back over here to the skis, and I'm going to select this image. I'm going to add this to Omnea. I've already preset this up with some specific catalogs for me. Add that to my catalog, and away it goes. And then once it's there, I can share it on Facebook, and I can say which skis should I buy? Left-handed, one-handed, cross-country, border. And as soon as it's there, I can go over and check in my Omnea product catalog. And if that was loading right there, you would see the skis. And I can line up and actually compare each of the different sets of skis. I can ask Craig, who actually knows something about skis because he reads the magazines. Craig can ask our friend Will. Will's owned probably 9 sets of skis in the last 18 months, has 6 kids, knows everything about skis, and then actually get real information from somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, as opposed to me guessing at the end of the process of looking through a sea of blue links and getting really frustrated. At the end of the day, I give a shit about whether or not I get the right skis. It's not a good deal, and I hope that you do too. So what we're looking for right now is people to come in and test. We just launched this application about 48 hours ago, so be very patient with bugs. I'm sure you'll find them, but I'm hoping that you come in, try it, and give us some feedback. Thanks.
How much pressure were we on you guys to get this thing shaped up for demonstration? That's what we like, some positive pressure. Alright guys, so we are done with demos tonight. We're going to do the all-famous open mic here at DC Tech Meetup, which means if you've got a company, an event, a need of some kind, you should feel very free to come and grab this mic. Justin, can you help me out with this? So just grab this mic from Justin, come up, promote what it is you need to promote. Keep it to 140 characters, or else you're going to anger gods. And then I'm going to bring up in about 10 minutes the location of the bar that we're all